Hello, Mary Meet. So I want to review a book, and this time it's one of those coloring books for adults, and I'm far more excited about this item than I really should be. And the book I want to review is Coloring Book of Shadows by Amy Cesari. I think that's how her name should be pronounced. So what is this? Well, it's a coloring book of shadows, straight up. It's basically various pagan symbols that you color, and there's also room on the pages to write up spells, information about magic, and your spirituality, about gods, and the like. So, yeah, it's a coloring book of shadows. And I saw this and I just had to have it. So, first of all, let me say that I do not like how soft the uh, binding are. This is very, very, very soft cardboard because with a book of shadows, that's something you will be flipping through a lot. And with this one, you have to be very, very, very careful to not damage the cover. So yeah, who has published this? It is Coloring Book of Shadows. No, that was the name. It doesn't say on here who published it, but yes. Let's have a look inside, shall we? It seems to be self-published, actually. So as you see, you can basically color in all of it, including the title page. So here you have a visual index of the various pages, which isn't that useful. I would have preferred an actual normal index, but because this really is just wasting pages, just showing picture of all of them. But here we come to the first page. And of course I can't show you all of the pages, but you have a summary about the book, you have how to use it, and ideas about what to add, like how to add magical experiences, spells, and the like, and some information about how to learn more about magic. And then there are some, this is quite useful, information about how you can color things, make shadowing things, and the like, which is quite useful. And then you come to the pages themselves. For example, here's a page that says, what is magic? So you color in these symbols, little cauldron and such, and then you have room to write here what your ideas of magic is. Just like you would in a regular book of shadows. You have, for example, earth. You have the earth symbol up there. And you can write here about what that element means to you. You have a whole section with all the star signs. I'm not too pleased about those because you find information about that everywhere. So I don't feel that I needed to use 12 pages for you to write up about the astrological signs. But fair enough. You also have these blank pages, is of course for you not to smudge things together. I do recommend when coloring these just putting a sheet of baking paper between them. But you can also of course use this if you have something that will not seep through the pages to write with, and use these blank pages for extra information. Then you have, for example, here for a new moon ritual. And I think that one of the nice things that you can do here is that when you color in these various symbols, you work with that symbol for a while. It's a great way to absorb the energy of that symbol. But it's also a great way to learn about it. And learning, okay, the Earth triangle is like that, and the air triangle. So basically, you go through them, and when you do the time to color them, it's a great way to learn these symbols. here you have Lisa. And again, like I said, you can add extra notes on these. Mine, here you have general pages for spells. So it's basically how to make your own, here's some herbs. Some more just pages with some decorations that you can use. Basically, it's how to make your own little book of shadows, but you mix that with a coloring book. And I think this is a great idea. Now, there's two kind of people I think will really enjoy this. One is that it's a great thing for children to get into the craft. Now, yes, some people will say that, no, you should not indoctrinate kids into religion, and I'm absolutely on board with that. If I had children, I would not try to push my religious beliefs on them. Where children are often interested in whatever their parents are doing. And so I would not mind if I had a child that was starting to show an interest in my work to start to teach them. Though I would not mind if they did not show an interest as well. It's not for an adult, I think, to force a kid into a religious belief. However, if the child started to show an interest, getting them a book like this would be awesome. I also think it's a great thing for adult pagans, like I said, to learn symbols and also to have a fun little project to do. There are a few things though that I wish would have been different. I wish that that the cover was more solid. I also wish that basically there were that the pages were perforated. If there were, then this would have been such an awesome thing to do, to then add to a Book of Shadows folder and the like. As it is now, when you write things up in this and make your little Book of Shadows a little grimoire out of it, then it will always say Coloring Book of Shadows. It will always have that basically feel to it. While it would have been awesome to get these pretty pictures when after you colored them and written things into the pages, and then adding them to a folder type Book of Shadows. So that would have been a very nice touch. And then the quality of the covers would not have mattered that much. The covers have a bit of that fake velvet feel that I hate to it, but it's not so much as to be enormously problematic. Other than the quality of the cover, this is a good book. The drawings are nice. It is not, most of them do not have super fine details, but there are, but some of the details are pretty small, as you see here. So I would say this is a mid-range when it comes to difficulty, but it's not as hard as some of those where it's the tiniest little details and it's just enormous pictures. So I think anybody could color this one in and it will look lovely. The paper quality itself is completely okay. I can, when I hold it up to the light, see my finger through the paper, but it's not very clear. So the paper is okay. I haven't tried to write on it yet though, so I don't know how well that will work. And I think that if you're using the back here for more notes and the more note space, if you have spent the time to color in the page on the front, I would probably use a pencil to write or some very fine tip pen, not to bleed through and ruin your drawing. But yeah, all in all, this is a pretty good product. It's a great way to learn symbolism, and it's a great way to have a little bit of a pagan craft that you can sit coloring in while watching TV and otherwise chilling with. So yeah, that is my review of Coloring Book of Shadows by Any Cesari. I think the contents are pretty good, but the cover could definitely be better, and I wish the pages was perforated, making it easier to pull finished projects out of the book to add to your actual Book of Shadows. That would have raised this a little bit. But yeah, I am planning on filling this with the color and with little spells and rituals. And I will probably do another video once I have done this to show you the results of my book. Though, of course, there's a lot of pages because this is pretty thick. So it is quite a bit of a project. So I hope you have enjoyed this review. Have a great day and blessed be.